into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I'm Jeffrey Cooperstein. Great to be here with you guys. The Mavericks take on the Clippers on Thursday and Saturday in a little baseball-style series here at the American Airlines Center. And before those games, let's get you caught up to date with everything that happened at practice yesterday. In the did not practice category, the Mavs' two stars, Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, both sat out. Now, these injury designations are kind of wishy-washy. Luka, they list with a heel contusion. He's fine. He's going to play on Thursday. I think they just had to give him an injury designation so he can miss practice. Kyrie has been dealing with a little bit of a shoulder injury. I don't know if it was a sprain or what, but he's been feeling that shoulder for the last week or so. But this is just maintenance. There's nothing to worry about here. Both of these guys are going to suit up in tomorrow night's game against the Clippers, so I don't think that is any cause of concern whatsoever. The Mavs are just trying to steal rest wherever they can. They had a few days off before the game against the Warriors. They have a few days off after the game against the Warriors and between this game against the Clippers. So they're just trying to get their stars day off as it's a long season and there are a lot of games left to be played. In the return to practice category, this is good news here. Naji Marshall returned to practice after missing the last 5 games with his illness. I believe it was a respiratory thing. And Marshall even tweeted about it. He's like, I just can't shake this bug and can't get right. So I'm glad to see him back in practice. Hopefully the Mavs can get him back here and going soon as possible. And then Maxi Kleber returned to practice after having a fractured rib. And he was also dealing with that similar illness that Marshall was dealing with as well. I want to focus on Naji here for a second. I think getting him back in the fold is absolutely huge. He is a big part of this wing rotation for the Mavs. We know P.J. Washington's value to this team that we've talked about here on this show. When P.J. plays, the Mavs win. When P.J. doesn't, the Mavs don't. The Mavs have still won games without Naji Marshall, but you obviously want him in there because he can be so versatile on both the offensive and the defensive ends. I think he was a fantastic signing from the New Orleans Pelicans at 3 years and $27 million. Now, it took him a little bit of time to get integrated into this rotation, but they do need Naji, and Naji has been a really big part of Jason Kidd's plans so far this season. I think that hopefully he's back healthy and is no longer sick, and he's able to play the rest of the season injury and health free, basically. And also, I hope Omax gets to take Kleber's spot. I think he's played well the last couple of games. It's time to see what he has over Maxi in this rotation. I believe this is the first time that both of them are going to be healthy and sort of competing for playing time. I think it's Omax's turn. The numbers don't stand out with just 2 points a game and 2 boards. He's shooting threes at a pretty decent percentage. Now, obviously, the attempts are very low. But when Omax is in the game, his job is twofold. It's 1, to be a stationary shooter, knock down those shots, and 2, to be a good defender on the threes and the fours. And I think that's what they're asking him to do. I don't think they want to give up on Omax now. I know we mentioned him as potential trade chip in a deal for Dorian Finney-Smith on yesterday's show. I think in an ideal world, Omax develops into the guy that they believe Dorian Finney-Smith is, and they don't have to trade anything to get that guy. I want Omax to show that he deserves a spot in Jason Kidd's rotation, and I hope he gets the chance to now that Maxi Kleber looks like he is on the mend. I want to ask you guys, who should play more? Should it be Omax or should it be Maxi? If you think it's Omax, type 8. If you think it's Kleber, type 42 down in the comments. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So you may get hit with a YouTube ad break here in just a moment. And while you're down there, get your votes in who you think should play more. I think it's obvious. I think it should be Olivier-Maxence Prosper. We've seen Maxi Kleber. We know what he brings to the table at this point, and it's not much. The potential of Omax is absolutely tantalizing. And I really want to see him get an extended run in this rotation. I think the athleticism is there. The shooting ability, he has shown it. I want to see it more consistently, but at the end of the day, I think this team's ceiling is higher with Omax playing the backup 4 minutes as opposed to Maxi Kleber. We'll get to the other Mavs news here in just a moment, but I do need to tell you guys about our sponsor, which of course is PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with PrizePicks, the best place to get real money sports action. and you can now win up to 1,000 times your money with MasterCard for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. And make sure you join now because this holiday season, PrizePicks is giving away 2 free picks in December. They already gave one away. We're going to tell you about the one here in just a moment. They're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. So here's my projection for the college football game coming up this weekend between Tennessee and Ohio State. I'm going to take the more on Nico, 19.5 rush yards, and I'm going to also take the more on Will Howard, more than half an interception. And they also have a free pick going on where on Christmas Day, Nikola Jokic, if you think he's going to score more than half a point, you can pair that up with another projection, and you basically get a free square that you already won. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. We got some Mavs news on the business side. They hired a new CEO. Cint Marshall announced earlier this season that she was going to be retiring on New Year's Eve of this year. And the Mavs have already announced her replacement, hiring Basketball Hall of Famer Rick Welts to assume the role of the head of business operations. And he has quite the resume. He was elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2018 alongside Jason Kidd. And he was the executive vice president, did a lot of marketing stuff in the NBA. He was considered the third in command next to David Stern and the deputy commissioner at the time, and then it was him. So he's been high up at the NBA. He was the president of the Phoenix Suns and the Mercury there over in Phoenix, and then he oversaw the business ops for the Golden State Warriors from 2011 to 21, obviously seeing 3 championships in that time, and now the Mavericks hire him as president and CEO. And I think why they hired him, this is the main reason, is that he oversaw development of the Chase Center. And we know new Mavericks owner Patrick Dumont has talked about very publicly how he wants to build a new state-of-the-art arena for the Dallas Mavericks in the coming years, and Welts is the perfect guy to do so. He saw the Chase Center is absolutely state-of-the-art. They spent $1.4 billion on it to go build it in San Francisco, so he's going to be a guy that's going to oversee that project and hopefully see it to completion and get the Mavs a beautiful new arena. And here's what the chain of command looks like. You obviously have the owner in Patrick Dumont, GM Nico Harrison, and CEO Rick Welts. And Welts did mention that he's not going to report to Harrison, and Harrison's not going to report to Welts. They will both report to Patrick Dumont. So they will be basically equals, where it's going to be a leadership triangle with Dumont at the top and then Welts and Harrison on both of the sides. And it is really different times here in Dallas. When Mark Cuban was running things, you had Donnie Nelson as GM and president of basketball operations, but there wasn't really a true established chain of command when it came to those things. Sometimes Cuban was making basketball decisions. Sometimes it was Donnie. You never had a true feel for what was going on, but now there is an absolutely true feel where Nico is running basketball operations. Patrick Dumont and Rick Welts are running the business side of things, and they're kind of just letting each other do their things. And I think that makes for a very successful franchise. Nico's done a great job building this team so far. I'm sure he's looking at the trade market and looking at potential opportunities for the team to upgrade this roster coming up here in the coming months. And I'm glad that Patrick Dumont's just letting him do his thing. He's also going to let Rick Welts do his thing. And he's he's a basketball Hall of Famer. So that's definitely a good idea. What is your confidence level right now in the Mavericks leadership? Scale it from 1 to 10 down in the comments. It's got to be a very high, like a 9 probably. I mean, it's not a perfect 10 because you haven't won a championship yet. And until you do that, I think you can't give out a perfect 10. But really love where this team is going right now. I think the organizational alignment is there from the coach to the GM to the business side to the owner. So it looks all really good right now. Let me know 1 to 10 down in the comments what you think. And be sure to hit that subscribe button for all of the latest Mavericks news and rumors.